Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Online games. Start with a super god pet. Chapter 41. The moment I heard Lin Yan's words, Irene's eyes shivered slightly, and then in the rushing blood in her body, the original rune representing the power of destruction quietly emerged, and the smaller and more complicated lines began to appear one after another. Lighted up bit by bit, like the newborn sun, releasing a vast light. Dragon flame breath. Frost breath. The moment the real name of destruction was used, Irene's two heads seemed unable to suppress the violent power in her body, and they breathed out the dragon's breath in unison. Minus 4,318. True damage burn. Minus 4,309. True damage frost. Two breaths directly blasted out more than 8,000 points of real damage. What a terrifying concept. Rao was a little stunned at this time because Lin Yan was well informed in his previous life. If it was in the later stage of the game, even if some high-level pets deal hundreds of thousands or millions of damage at once, Lin Yan would think it is normal, but it is only there now, and Irene is only at level 8. No, this kind of damage is really too heaven-defying. And this is not just a simple damage figure. The damage caused by the two dragon flame breaths are all 100% converted into real damage. What is real harm? In World of Divine Pets, this is synonymous with the key to killing bosses. The defense of many high-level bosses is as high as a scary index. Attacks without additional real damage cannot touch them at all, and some special monsters are even immune to them. All conventional physical damage and magic damage, only attacks like real damage and divine power can effectively kill them. In World of Divine Pets, regardless of the rank of any weapon with real damage, once it is auctioned, the price will be sky high in an instant. Weapons are few and far between. And the higher the ratio of real damage that can be converted, the more cherished the corresponding value of the weapon, so Lin Yan was so surprised by the two 100% converted real damage caused by Irene. The moment the two dragon breaths spewed out, Lin Yan could clearly sense that the two flames, one red and one blue, were all infused with a dark red unknown power, presumably that should be the power attached to destruction's real name. Washed by the flames carrying the power of destruction, the necromancer knight couldn't even make a wail, and its blood volume was instantly emptied to the end, and its bones were directly turned into nothingness, leaving no residue. Not in a hurry to look at the items dropped by the necromancer knight, Lin Yan hurriedly checked Irene's attributes, and found that more than half of her blue bar was empty now, and her whole body was lying on the ground. Any negative attributes are present, but Irene seems a little tired. Holding Irene in his arms distressed-edly, Lin Yan fed her a few pieces of jerky, and Irene suddenly became energetic. Seeing Irene's foodie behavior, Lin Yan was also a little speechless. Sure enough, there is nothing that a piece of jerky can't solve. If so, then two. Ha ha ha. Eileen was chewing the jerky while rubbing her two heads into his arms, as if to say, "Master, am I not that good?" Yes, 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 my Irene is invincible in the world. Seeing Irene begging for compliments, Lin Yan laughed and said. Hearing his praise, Irene's two heads were raised high, and her eyes were full of stars. ... Ding, you got a gold coin times 1. Ding, you got a copper coin times 35. Ding, you got the item Necromancer Lance Blue. Ding, you got the item. Open black lens bracket ancient rune fragment close black lens bracket times 2. Ding, you got the item Dead Knight's Diary. Ding, you got a special item, level 2 level key. Lin Yan's eyes lit up when he saw the items he had obtained. As expected of a level 15 boss monster, the rewards are different, and it actually dropped 2 ancient language rune fragments, which are really good things. Special item. Archaic rune fragments. Introduction. There was once a rune fragment left by a lost family in ancient times, which may contain some unknown secrets. On the battlefields of the above-ground world and the edge of the underground, there is such an NPC who specializes in purchasing ancient language rune fragments. If you submit the fragments to the opponent, you will get a lot of experience and various precious items. However, for a long time in the previous life, no one discovered the real use of this thing, because the description of the system is extremely simple, so no one knew the real use of ancient rune fragments, so over time, everyone also treated it as a tasteless object, but this thing can only be obtained from monsters or treasure chests at the leader level and above, so if you kill the boss to drop this thing, the players will curse bad luck. This situation lasted for a long time, until a player discovered that ancient rune fragments could be provided to NPCs for rewards, so they began to secretly buy them. In the previous life, that player got a lot of money because of this. Experience and various precious items, including several gold and orange equipment. But paper can't contain fire after all. The abnormal transaction of ancient rune fragments naturally attracted the attention of the major guilds. Although the player was extremely careful, other guilds finally knew the use of the fragments. After that, the price of rune fragments began to skyrocket. Lin Yen did not expect to be able to harvest 2 pieces of ancient rune fragments at this stage, and he is very happy at the moment. Later, he can also secretly buy a wave in the market. Anyway, no matter the gold coins in the game or real wealth, he has none of these. As for this, Lin Yen frowned, looked away, and looked at another item dropped by the Ghost Knight. Quest item: Diary of the Death Knight. Introduction. Death Knight Fira used to be just a skeleton wandering in the bottom of the underground abyss, until one day, he was infected by a breath of death in an unknown abyss, and then advanced to become a Death Knight. The undead knight was both afraid and grateful for that unknown abyss, so he hoped that someone could enter that abyss for him to investigate. Yes, no to accept the task. Quest item. Seeing the introduction of Death Knight's Diary, Lin Yen frowned slightly. There are countless special props and items in World of Divine Pets, and mission items are also one of them. Players can accept the corresponding missions as long as they obtain the corresponding mission items. Lin Yen thought about it, but he was not in a hurry to accept it. Although it can be seen from the task introduction that the difficulty of this task is definitely high, correspondingly, the task rewards are naturally not bad. After all, just a breath of death can make an ordinary skeleton monster evolve into a ghost knight, so there are at least Demon King level characters in that abyss, but Lin Yen is mainly active in the aboveground world at the moment, and the underground abyss is too far away from him after all. Far too far. Moreover, the light camp and the dark camp are hostile in themselves. Once a character from the opposing camp appears, I am afraid that all players and NPCs will be moved by the news. Shaking his head, Lin Yen stopped thinking about these bad things, threw the Death Knight's diary into his backpack, took the key of the 2nd level, and opened the stone door leading to the 3rd floor of the dark cave. Crunch. Accompanied by an ear-piercing sound of ground rubbing, the stone door opened, but the 3rd floor was not the winding passage that Lin Yen originally imagined, but an empty space covering an area of about 100 square meters. In the center of the space, a figure wrapped in dark shadows was drawing something on the ground with a magic pen. And the moment his eyes fell on that figure, Lin Yen realized the other person's identity. Crossel Phantom. Category: Demon King. Grade: Attack. HP. Skill. Introduction. One of the 36 great demon kings of the underground abyss, each of them controls the power to destroy too much. In the last battle between the surface world and the underground abyss, Crossel single-handedly captured the blood-red fortress inhabited by a legendary mage, and slaughtered hundreds of thousands of civilians with his own hands. Depend on. Looking at the question marks in the water, Lin Yen was also a little speechless. Even if it was just a phantom of the Demon King, the level gap between the two sides was too great, so he couldn't see any information at all. What the other party is drawing now is a long-distance item transmission array. Looking at the unfinished magic circle, with Lin Yen's vision, he could recognize what it was at a glance. He wanted to send the Stone of Inheritance of the Elves back to the abyss. The moment he recognized the teleportation array, Lin Yen realized what the other party wanted to do. What came to the aboveground world at the moment was just a phantom of Crossel. It is absolutely impossible to sneak back to the underground abyss, and with the power of his phantom, it is not enough to destroy the Stone of Inheritance of the Elves. That's why he lurked here secretly, trying to use the teleportation array to quietly transmit the Stone of Inheritance back to the ground. It's just that Lin Yen broke in before the magic circle was drawn. Open black lens bracket. Humble human being, you were able to find this place. Very good, your wisdom and strength have surpassed those reptiles. Now, I will give you the opportunity to serve by my side. Close black lens bracket. Ding, Demon King Crossel has taken a fancy to your potential and decided to let you submit to him. Do you agree? Open black lens bracket. Warn. This decision is irreversible. Please choose carefully. Once you agree, your camp will change. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Warn. Warn. This decision is irreversible. Please choose carefully. Once you agree, your camp will change. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Warn. Warn. This decision is irreversible. Please choose carefully. Once you agree, your camp will change. I only choose to change if I have a sick mind. Not to mention losing the first level of experience. Even if Lin Yan's level is directly reduced to 0, he will not be able to change camps. The experience he accumulated in the light camp in his previous life, let alone a demon king, even if the 12 pillars of demon gods let him change camps, nor could he agree. Lin Yan chose not to agree without hesitation, and immediately said to Han Yu, "Quick, use the azure necklace." Stupid human being. How dare you despise the great demon king? I will crush your soul and body together. Crossel roared angrily. The flame elements in the air quickly condensed, and scorching flames danced everywhere. After just one breath, the dense fireballs smashed down like meteorites. And the moment Crossel made his move, Elf Archer Silver, who had been staying in Novice Village, stared at him. "I found you." The next moment, a hexagram circle appeared out of thin air from her figure, and then the figure disappeared out of thin air, leaving behind an unknown player who was still trying to accept tasks from her or take pictures with her. "I'm going. What the hell is this? Could it be that the NPC ran away?" a player said with a blank expression. While player 9102 was half joking, Lin Yan felt the energy fluctuations around him, and his heart was filled with horror. Fortunately, at this moment, a curved translucent light curtain made of cyan energy enveloped him and Hanyu. "Ding, you have suffered damage from the skill Meteor Fire Rain released by Demon King Crossel. You have received 100 W points of damage." "Ding, your pet dragon Irene was hurt by the skill Meteor Fire Rain released by Demon King Crossel, and received 100 W points of damage." "Ding, ding, because of the invincible feature, the actual damage you receive is 0. Ding, because of the invincible feature, your pet dragon Irene actually received 0 damage." A series of voices kept ringing out, making Lin Yan's heart beating involuntarily. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Hanyu used the ability of Azure Sky, otherwise he would have turned into a cloud in an instant. White light. The damage of up to 1 million points is still a continuous blow. Who can afford it? Wow, so handsome, even the nervous expression is so handsome. Unlike Lin Yan, who was emotionally ups and downs, Hanyu's all thoughts were on him at the moment. As for what to do if you die here and drop a level, then she doesn't mean she lived and died with brother Lin Yan once. Lin Yan naturally didn't have the heart to care about Hanyu's thoughts at the moment, and obviously, the current Hanyu still had a long way to go before growing into a legendary boss in the future. The 3-second invincibility time can be said to be long or short, but it finally survived the meteor shower released by Crossel. "Humble reptiles, how dare you resist me?" Seeing that his skills did not kill the enemy, Crossel was stunned for a moment, and then fell into a rage again. But at this moment, accompanied by a surge of light, Sylph's figure suddenly appeared on the 3rd floor of the dark cave. Seeing the other party's figure appear, Lin Yan was also slightly relieved, knowing that he was completely safe. "It's you, the favored one of the elves." Seeing the appearance of the elf shooter Sylph, Demon King Crossel's expression changed slightly. If his body was here, he wouldn't be afraid of a girl who hadn't yet grown up from the elves, but he was the only one who sneaked into the ground right now. Just a phantom. "Crossel, you sneaked into our holy land and stole the open black lens bracket stone of inheritance. Close black lens bracket. I, Sylph, the god favored of the elves, come to kill you under the order of the elves. If you want to kill me, you can try," Crossel said coldly with slightly cold eyes. "Die," Sylph said something coldly, and without further ado, she directly took out the silver longbow that had been carried behind her back, clasped the bowstring with both hands, and an arrow that seemed to be condensed from the essence of moonlight was formed. The moment the arrows condensed and formed, 7 colors of light shone on the silver longbow at the same time. Go! The moon arrow pierced through the air, and the string was silent. An artifact. This is the artifact of the elves, the bow of the 7 strings. How could you bring her out? When Crossel saw the moonlight emerging from the longbow, his complexion changed suddenly. With a scream, his whole figure shrank into a ball instantly, and countless shadows emerged from his body, forming one defense after another, protecting him to the death. Live. But when the moonlight feather arrow shining with 7 colors of brilliance fell, all the shadow barriers seemed to be useless. Asterisk. Divine damage, moon damage, frost damage, fire damage. I go. The moment Lin Yan saw the injury appear, Lin Yan's heart skipped a beat. The damage points of one hit directly broke tens of millions. Crossel's long blood bar was emptied in an instant. Sylph, don't be complacent. The next time my lord invades the earthly world, I will kill you with my own hands. The moment before the phantom of the Demon King dissipated, Crossel's angry roar resounded in all directions. Ahem. After the arrow was shot, an unusual paleness appeared on Sylph's face, but it was only a moment later, and she did not know what kind of secret method she used to suppress the injury. Lin Yan was not surprised to see that Sylph's state was obviously not right. The power of an artifact is beyond the control of ordinary people, even the vast majority of legendary NPCs can't use it at all. If it weren't for Sylph, who is favored by the moon god, with her current strength that is not even legendary, I'm afraid I can't even pull the 7-string bow. Let's go. With a swipe of Sylph's palm, all the items that Crossel left here, including the Stone of Inheritance, were in her hands, and then she greeted Lin Yan, and a short distance teleportation array below her. It will be formed by condensation. Knowing that this was going back to Shinsho village, Lin Yan didn't act pretentious, and greeted Shang Hanyu to enter the magic circle. With a flash of white light, the figures of the 3 disappeared in the dark cave instantly. From the time Sylph appeared on the 3rd floor of the dark cave to the time she got rid of Demon King Crossel, it took about 10 seconds. And the players who had been standing nearby with a confused face became even more confused when they saw that the NPC brought back 2 players, a man and a woman. This is Morningstar, boss. A sharp-eyed player recognized Lin Yan's identity at a glance. As the female NPC using the teleportation array to pick people back to the village. What kind of boss treatment is this? Shocked, the female NPC suddenly disappeared and did such a thing in the street. Ah, who is that female player next to my husband? I can't stand it, I want to duel with her. Because of the outbreak of several previous incidents, and the incident that triggered Lin Yan's global announcement, he is undoubtedly the most famous person in the entire 9102 village, so when he appeared, all players immediately recognized his identity. After returning to Shinsho village, Sylph sincerely said to Lin Yan, "Dear warrior, thank you for your help. It allowed me to retrieve the sacred artifact inherited from the elves. This is the reward you deserve. Ding, your task searching for the Stone of Inheritance has been completed. Ding, you got a reward. Experience X 100W. Ding, you have received a reward. Elf favorability times 500. Ding, you got a reward. Sylph favorability plus 10. Currently 30 points, friendly. Ding, you have received a reward. The Medal of Guardian of the Elves. Elf Guardian Medal, special item. Bound player. Morning Star. Item attributes. Attack plus 10%, defense plus 10%, HP plus 150. Trait. Ignore level plus 5. Ability. Guardian Barrier. Guardian Barrier. After casting this skill, a translucent guardian barrier can be created instantly. The defense power of the barrier is equal to half of the player's own, and the blood volume is equal to twice that of the player's own. Introduction. The Guardian Medal of the Elf Clan is a medal made by soaking the branches of the ancient tree of life. Only those who have made great contributions to the Elf Clan are eligible to have it. Restriction. Only for personal use, cannot be traded, cannot be discarded, cannot be dropped. Accompanied by a series of ding-ding alerts, a white light lit up on both Lin Yan and Irene. Ding, your level has been raised to LV9. Ding, your pet dragon Irene has been upgraded to LV9. Get. Strength plus 20. Get. Dexterity plus 20. Get. Spirit plus 20. Acquired. Constitution plus 20. The terrifying experience directly raised both Lin Yan and Irene's levels by 1 level. Has the Guardian Medal been awarded? Seeing the rewards given by the system, Lin Yan was also a little surprised, but the attributes of the Guardian Medal are indeed quite powerful. The 10% bonus to both offensive and defensive attributes can make Lin Yan's output and living environment even better. The additional feature of +5 ignoring level is also quite good, especially because of Irene. The monsters that Lin Yan needs to deal with now are basically of higher level. With this feature of +5 ignoring level, the level suppressing effect on Lin Yan will reduce a lot. As for the accompanying protective barrier, it is even more of a life-saving skill. Because of Irene, Lin Yan has already identified his position. For him, ensuring his life is the most important thing. The Guardian Medal is a very good item in the rewards given by the elves, and it can be further advanced, but it needs to make a greater contribution to the elves, which is not in Lin Yan's consideration for the time being. In World of Divine Pets, medals belong to a very special category of items, as well as titles and special items that can be put into effect after being placed in a backpack. They are also called the 3 infinite possibilities in the game. Because for all players, there are 13 items in the equipment column after all, but the medals, titles, and items that can be put into the backpack do not have this restriction at all. It is difficult to further improve when the player's level and strength reach a certain height in the later stage. At this time, many players will start from these 3 directions. As for the so-called elves favorability +500, this is completely confused, and the personal favorability between NPCs is different, and the favorability between any race is very difficult unless it reaches a certain value. What specific usefulness is reflected? Of course, the higher the favorability, the better. The harvest is not bad, and the level has also gone up. While Lin Yan was silently counting the rewards of this mission, Sylph said again, "Morning Star Warrior, thank you for your help. I have one more item here, not only are you willing to accept it." While speaking, Sylph had already handed over a golden mask. Crossel's mask. Quality: golden. Level requirements: none. Baptized by moon power. Attributes: Spirit +10, all attributes +5, +1000 HP. Feature 1. Movement speed +20%. Feature 2. When attacking, there is a certain probability of sleeping effect. Skill 1. Spirit immunity. Ignore any mind control skills within 3s after casting this skill. Cooling time: 1h. Skill 2. Powerful concealment. Powerful concealment. After using the skill, enter the stealth state instantly, and the duration is 30s. It cannot be broken by general probing props and skills. Cooldown: 3 minutes. Introduction. Before Crossel became the favorite equipment of the Abyss Demon Lord, but as his strength improved, such equipment could no longer match his strength. Note: this piece of equipment has been left with his unique aura by Demon King Crossel. Equip this item, and you will suffer hostility and revenge from Crossel. This is golden equipment. Needless to say about attributes, the bonus of up to 1000 points of blood directly makes Lin Yan's blood bar enough to outshine all players in the novice village. In terms of characteristics, the 20% movement speed directly improves Lin Yan's maneuverability in battle, and the sleep effect can even directly save lives at some critical times. As for the incidental skills, powerful concealment is equivalent to learning an enhanced skill of the thief. Whether it is used to fight the enemy, assassinate, or escape, it is quite useful. As for what Lin Yan was most satisfied with, it was undoubtedly the ability of mental immunity. World of Divine Pets. Although the focus is on pet battles, in the final analysis, the player is still the key. If the player dies, the pet will naturally be taken back, so some people focus on pet owners when they don't have powerful pets. Body. In the previous life, many players with high-level pets were caught in the wild after being controlled by mental skills and could not move. With this skill, Lin Yan's ability to survive has been greatly improved. As for Crossel's hostility and revenge, that guy is still underground now. When the other party comes to the world above the ground again, Irene may have already grown up. By then, whoever revenges whom will say not sure. Without hesitation, Lin Yan directly chose to accept it. As soon as he put on the mask, his various attributes immediately soared. Sure enough, it is worthy of the golden equipment, it is so powerful. The Stone of Inheritance has been retrieved, and it's time for me to leave here. Warrior, we are destined to meet again, Sylph said, and walked towards the teleportation circle in Shinsho village. The players around looked at the golden mask covering Lin Yan's face, and it exploded. All go, this light, is this a gold outfit? Dragon Pets, trigger global announcements, and gold outfits. Who is this player named Morning Star? It's him again. This guy can't be the official GM, why all the benefits have fallen into his hands. I don't even have a blue outfit until now, only green outfits in pieces, I'm so envious. Brother, I'm still wearing a whiteboard. ... Ignoring the comments of the players around, Lin Yen greeted Hanyu and went directly to the guild registration place in Shinsho village. Dear Brave, is there anything I can do to help you? The reception staff in the house said with bright eyes when they saw Lin Yen and Lin Yen. I hope to establish a guild. Lin Yen said. World of Divine Pets is a multiplayer game after all. The existence of a guild can quickly unite people's hearts, and after joining a guild, as the guild level increases, guild players can also get blessings that are not attributes. Warrior, you need to pay a registration fee of 1 gold coin to establish a guild, do you agree? Agree. Lin Yen nodded, this amount of money is nothing to him. Warrior, when your power stands on top of the world, what do you want people to call you? After accepting the silver coins, the old man asked again. Let's call it Tianxing Guild. Lin Yen thought for a while and said. With a thought in his heart, Lin Yen immediately decided on a name. At the same time that Lin Yen was registering for the guild, there were also many like-minded players and forces in other novice villages in the world of divine pets registering for the guild. God's favorite world, this game has given hope to countless people. A few years later, these high-spirited players who registered in the guild at the beginning either ended in dismal, disappeared, or flew dragons in the sky, proud of the world. And Tianxing Guild is destined to become the brightest star in world of divine pets. The legend begins here. ... Open black lens bracket Tianxing Guild close black lens bracket. Level. LV1 0/10,000. Guild President. Morning Star. Guild Members. 1. Guild Skills. None. Guild Residents. None. Guild NPC. None. Guild Warehouse. None. Guild City. The function is not activated. Like many young people who have just started their businesses, the guild panel at this time is empty, but with the experience of the previous life, Lin Yen has absolute confidence to lead the Tianxing Guild to the top of the world. Suppressing the agitated emotions in his heart, Lin Yen clicked Hanyu's avatar on the invitation interface. Ding, player Hanyu has joined the guild. Ah, is that all right? The little girl froze for a moment, then said with a smile. By the way, can I pull people in? My sister happens to be in Shinsho village at number 9102. What's your sister's ID? Lin Yen asked casually. Blue Fall and Yellow Spring. Ah, Lin Yen froze for a moment, and immediately echoed the same famous id from his previous life. A few minutes later. Hello, I am Wangquan Beluo. The woman who spoke was tall and slender, her long hair was loosely tied together, and she naturally exuded a capable temperament. Hi, my name is Morning Star. Lin Yen touched his nose and said in embarrassment. After stretching out a soft little hand, it lightly shook Lin Yen's palm, and then separated again. It's hard to imagine that an id like Wangquan Beluo was created by a girl. But this is not the first time Lin Yen has heard of this id, because the president of the Snow Luo Guild in his previous life was called Wangquan Beluo. I know you are the most famous player in the entire God's Pet world recently, and your posts are everywhere on the forum. Sure enough, you are really handsome. Hanyu should be caught by your handsome face. I was fascinated, so I joined the guild in a daze. Huang Quan Bai Luo suddenly approached, looked carefully at Lin Yen's face, and said leisurely. But to be honest, it's really unreasonable to be handsome. Cousin. Hearing that Huang Quan Bai Luo was still teasing herself, Hanyu's small face flushed suddenly, and said angrily and shyly. Ahem. Being praised by the other party like this, Lin Yen was already used to such words, so he was a little embarrassed at the moment. Different from Hanyu, Wangquan Beluo has good strength, but after all, she does not belong to the top group of players. She is a management talent. In her previous life, the entire Luotian Guild was managed by her in an orderly manner. It is the 3 super guilds that directly catch up with Sha Guo. Lin Yen didn't expect that the 2 founders of Shui Luo Guild in his previous life were all coaxed into his own guild by him. He was really lucky. After chatting with the 2 for a while, Lin Yen chose to go offline for a rest. As soon as he went online the next day, Lin Yen found that because of the event that he had obtained the gold suit, it was being discussed again on the forum. In a situation where players were equipped with green equipment, blue equipment was rare, and purple equipment was completely invisible, Lin Yen directly obtained a gold equipment, which undoubtedly made many players envious. And in this world, there are always some people who obviously have no ability, but always like to suspect, criticize, and frame others for no reason. At this time, the discussion about Lin Yen on the forum was also like this. There were always some clowns clamoring about unfairness, cheating and so on. Lin Yen didn't care about these, but directly started to buy various materials for making slaughter bow from many players who set up stalls. No matter real wealth, or gold coins and silver coins in the game, Lin Yen has no shortage. So he quickly collected items such as amethyst, wild beef tendon, and blood coral, but he still lacked a shadow stone. This item is not very precious, but it is a bit troublesome to get it. Lin Yen is too lazy to waste any more time to get it, so he just made an announcement in Novice Village. Morning Star 10 silver coins to buy a shadow stone, some private chat. Seeing this pinned message posted by Lin Yen, the Shinshoken channel instantly exploded. I'm going, is this thing so valuable? I thought it was useless, so I sold it to an NPC. Me too, I thought it was a worthless thing that was dropped by the tree demon before. It's too late to fight now. No, the two upstairs, did you pay attention to the important point? A Shinsho village announcement is 10 silver coins. This guy is a local tyrant. After swiping the announcement, Lin Yen, who had turned on the private chat function, immediately received a lot of messages. A few minutes later, Novice Village Square. Do you have a shadow stone? Lin Yen asked, looking at the player whose it was Qing Yu in front of him. Yes, okay, let's make a deal. Lin Yen nodded without talking nonsense. I don't want silver coins, Boss Morningstar, I just want to join your guild. Why? Lin Yen asked curiously. His guild had just been established, and there were only 3 people in it. Sometimes, following the right person is a very important thing. You're very smart, okay, I agree. Lin Yen looked at the other party in surprise and nodded. This world is like this, although it is not so fair and absolute, but sometimes, choice is indeed more important than hard work. After collecting all the materials, Lin Yen brought the blueprints to the blacksmith shop in Shinsho village, and handed the blueprints together with the materials to the master blacksmith. The blueprint for this weapon. Seeing the blueprint handed over by Lin Yen, the blacksmith's eyes lit up slightly. Young man, your luck is really good. After saying this in an anticlimactic manner, the blacksmith began to work. Seeing the master blacksmith start to work, Lin Yen turned on the live broadcast platform. Because of the explosion of God's Pet World, major live broadcast platforms have opened up their channels one after another, and so have several well-known live broadcast platforms in China. Not only did they recruit a large number of turbulent female anchors as a gimmick to attract the crowd to watch, but they also reached a cooperation agreement with some professional players and big guilds, so at this time, there were people live broadcasting on various platforms. This royal sister teaches you how to raise a cat. Quote, what the cat girl and I have to say. Quote, professional gamer Bian Yi who debuted. Quote, the guilds of the world announce collectively to enter do you. Quote, beautiful beauty Mumong. Take you to enjoy the world of God pets. Quote, Shadow Killing Guild official raiders Shadow Tide copy. Quote, But obviously, the most popular live broadcasts of the majority of players are still the 2 clichés, either appearance or technology. Those female anchors with no face show off their proud figures intentionally or unintentionally, in order to attract the attention of players. Among the many live broadcast windows, there was a piece of information that attracted Lin Yen's attention, which was the copy of the Shadow Killer Guild Raiders Tide of Shadows. It still looks far from the same, but compared with ordinary players, it is undoubtedly much more delicate. But Lin Yen knew very well that this was just a gimmick for the live broadcast of the Shadow Killing Guild. For a large guild like theirs, how could there be only one group in a dungeon like the strategy? At least a dozen groups would be formed at the same time to go hand in hand and communicate with each other. Level 10 Dungeon Shadow Tide is the first officially opened player dungeon, so it is also the most special existence. It has no restrictions on players' pets and levels, and it will be officially opened after 2400 on the 3rd day of server opening. Although the guilds are all gearing up, so far, no guild has won the first kill. Right now, all the major guilds in the world are holding their breath. It is self-evident that the first pass of such a dungeon, without mentioning any additional rewards, will have a significant impact on the guild's reputation. Lin Yen turned a few pages and felt a little bored, so he closed the live broadcast window. Not long after, with a flash of light, a longbow that seemed to be flowing with blood was forged. Slaughter bow, purple. Requirements: level LV8. Attributes: attack 40 to 45, strength plus 10, agility plus 10, constitution plus 5. Features: every time an enemy is killed, the attack power of the weapon is temporarily increased by 1 point, and the maximum attack power can be increased by 150 points. Note: the attack power boosted by killing enemies will disappear automatically after 10 minutes, and it will be reset automatically every time you go offline, transfer to a new map, enter an instance, etc. Ability: Wrath of the Stars. V. Wrath of the Stars instantly releases a powerful arrow of the stars, causing damage equal to 200% of the attack power of the character holding the bow to 8 times 8 enemies around the target. Cooldown time: 3 minutes. Introduction: the bow and arrow shrouded in the killing breath, it will seal all the undead who died under the arrow. Seeing the attributes of the slaughter bow, Lin Yen nodded. Good stuff. The characteristics of the slaughtering bow match its name very well, and the characteristics are also very powerful. When fully stacked, it can increase the attack power by 150 points. This effect is really scary. And once this feature is fully stacked, Lin Yen will activate the additional skill of Wrath of the Stars, and the damage caused is probably not much worse than that of Irene, and the range of the single round attack is even better. With the slaughter bow, Lin Yen's output instantly went up a notch. Equipped with the slaughter bow, Lin Yen walked towards the central square of the village, and at the same time sent a message to Huang Quan Bai Luo and Han Yu, asking them to come over. After a while, the two came hand in hand. It has to be said that a beautiful woman is a beautiful woman, and wherever she goes, there is a beautiful landscape. As soon as the two walked over, the eyes of the surrounding male players followed involuntarily. Wangquan Baluo and Hanyu are two sisters, one is intelligent and the other is cute, the other is dignified and the other is mischievous. Even Lin Yen couldn't help but take a second look when he saw the two standing together. Seeing that both of them had arrived, Lin Yen took them to the shadow altar. Cute new girl looking for a lead. You can form a CP after clearing the level. 4 warriors are configured, and there is a lack of a professional nurse. If you have a nurse, come here. Full berserk output. There is still a high DPS player. New trial camp, 5 knights are strong to pass the level, and there are still 2 people missing. ... As soon as the space changed, more noisy voices sounded in an endless stream. But the excitement is the excitement, most players just come here to watch the excitement, and there are not many teams that actually enter the dungeon. Although the dungeon death in World of God's Pets is not like dying in the wild, it just drops 20% of the current level of experience, but it is not easy for players with 20% experience to rise up. Right now, the tide of Shadow Dungeon, even the major guilds have not been conquered, but some people still have the attitude of giving it a try. Hey, isn't this the Morning Star boss? He's here, is he going to take the first kill in the dungeon? Seeing Lin Yen, a player said excitedly. Hey, no, why did he only bring 2 female companions? The Shadow Wave is a 5-player dungeon. Does he plan to form a temporary group? HMPH, he alone can win the dungeon that the world's major guilds can't take. It's a daydream. On the side, Proud World stared at Lin Yen with a gloomy expression, and couldn't help but be on the side. Since the last time he led someone to be killed by Lin Yen in seconds, Proud World has understood the strength gap between the two sides. Since he knew he couldn't beat him, he naturally wouldn't take it upon himself. Anyway, after he left the novice village, he could calling a group of people. He didn't believe that the other party would be able to beat hundreds of his men by himself. Lin Yen naturally also saw Proud World, the jumping clown, but he didn't take him seriously at all. Compared with those enemies in his previous life, the little strength of the other party was not even a clown in his eyes. Therefore, Lin Yen immediately ignored the other party's existence after taking a glance over. Morningstar boss, are you going to clear the Shadow Tide dungeon? Can you bring me one? Ah, Chengxing husband, choose me, I have a lot of milk. Boss, please take me, I promise I won't hold you back. Seeing that Lin Yan's team was not full, a group of players surrounded him one after another. The name of a person, the shadow of a tree. Lin Yan is undoubtedly the hottest character in the entire 9102 novice village at the moment. Although due to the deep-rooted influence of the past, players do not believe that Lin Yan can be faster than other super guild raiders, but following Lin after Nian, they will definitely go farther than they fight in groups by themselves, and they won't be directly killed by those shadowy creatures as soon as they enter the dungeon. Lin Yan smiled and rejected other players' applications to join, while walking to the boulder in the center of the shadow altar, put his palm on it, and chose to open the instance. On this boulder, you found traces of shadow creatures that once wandered in the void. They cunningly lurked in this area, pretending to be ghosts and devouring all the creatures that came here, but all of these were suppressed by wise people. What you noticed, in order to understand the truth of the matter, you decided to go deep into it and investigate. System. Do you choose to enter the copy? Yes. System. Please select the difficulty of the dungeon. Normal, nightmare, close black lens bracket. The dungeons in World of Divine Pets have multiple difficulty settings: simple, normal, nightmare, purgatory, abyss. The higher the difficulty of the dungeon, the more rewards there will be. However, dungeons above nightmare have clearance restrictions. For example, if a player wants to challenge the difficulty of a dungeon of purgatory level, he must first clear the difficulty of a dungeon of nightmare level. However, as the first dungeon to be opened and changed, Shadow Tide is a bit special, so there are only 2 levels of difficulty available for players to challenge: normal and nightmare. Nightmare. Are you sure? Yes. After Lin Yan chose the difficulty of nightmare, with a flash of white light, the 3 of them entered the instance. Surrounded by a seemingly vast plain, there seem to be mountains and mountains in the distance, and the ground is also full of greenery. System. You have entered a copy of the Tide of Shadows. The difficulty of the copy is nightmare. Ah, why is it nightmare difficulty? Brother Lin Yan, did you choose the wrong dungeon difficulty? Seeing the message displayed by the system, Hanyu said anxiously. Lin Yan, are you really sure? You know, none of the major guilds in the world has even cleared the level on normal difficulty. Huang Quan Baluo looked at Lin Yan and found that Lin Yan was still calm, and said curiously. Naturally, she wouldn't believe that Lin Yan would make such a low-level mistake. Is it just because of his confidence that he can clear the nightmare level dungeon difficulty? No matter how high his level is, only the 3 of them have entered the current 5-player dungeon, and the girl Hanyu doesn't know about it. Doesn't she understand? She has no combat ability at all. Don't worry, since I chose the nightmare level dungeon difficulty, I naturally have the strength and confidence to take the 2 of you through. Lin Yan still looked very calm. Stupid humans, you dare to sneak into the Shadowland without authorization, I will tear your body to pieces. Not long after the 3 of them walked forward, a shadow monster appeared first. Shadow Warrior, Enhanced Monster, Shadow Creature. Level: LV10. HP: 3800. Skills: Body of Shadow, Claw of Shadow, Coil of Shadow, Heart of Darkness. Introduction. One of the lowest existences among shadow creatures, they feed on all devoureable creatures, absorb power, and desire to evolve towards a higher order of shadow life. Glancing at the Shadow Warrior's attributes, Lin Yan frowned slightly. How could the level 10 enhanced monster's HP be so high? Obviously, it was due to the racial bonus of the shadow creature that it reached nearly 4000 HP. I looked at the forum before, and the normal dungeons encountered only normal monsters at the beginning. After entering the nightmare difficulty, has the level of the initial mobs changed? Huang Quan Bai Luo couldn't help frowning slightly. I'll resist, you output, quick battle and quick decision. While thinking about it, Huang Quan Bai Luo had already drawn out his long sword, ready to step forward to unleash the monster. No, don't run around here, just wait for me to come back. Seeing Huang Quan Bai Luo's murderous look, Lin Yan smiled and said. While speaking, Lin Yan took out the slaughter bow and shot an arrow at the Shadow Warrior. -172. As soon as the arrow was shot, the Shadow Warrior's blood volume dropped by about 5%. Huang Quan Bai Luo, who was watching this scene, couldn't help but feel his heart skip a beat. The shadow warrior in front of me is said to be a strengthened monster, but its basic attributes are basically not inferior to elite monsters of the same level. Lin Yan didn't use any skills. A normal attack knocked out so much blood. How high is his attack? At this stage, an ordinary player with a growth point of 5, even if all attributes are added to level 10, the limit attack caused by the naked outfit is probably only about 1/3 of that of Lin Yan. Is this the reason why he dared to enter the nightmare dungeon? Huang Quan Bai Luo thought to himself. Lin Yan caused such a high output with one arrow, and immediately filled the shadow warrior's hatred value, and rushed towards Lin Yan furiously, but Lin Yan didn't seem to notice the shadow warrior's approach at all. The arrow shot out, attracting another shadow warrior. Seeing the two shadow warriors rushing towards him, Lin Yan started to run. His agility attribute is already high, and he also has a 20% movement speed bonus of the golden outfit Crossel mask. How can these shadow fighters keep up with his movement? Also continue to shoot arrows to attract other shadow fighters. In the blink of an eye, Lin Yan was followed by a dozen shadow warriors. You attract so many monsters at once, I can't resist. Seeing this scene, Huang Quan Bai Luo's expression also changed suddenly. Her level has reached level 8, and there are several blue outfits in her equipment. In the eyes of ordinary players, she is definitely a master-level figure. However, the shadow fighters are no different than ordinary enhanced monsters. Huang Quan Bai Luo claims that being able to pull two shadow fighters at the same time is the limit. Who would have thought that Lin Yan would gather so many monsters at once? Don't worry, you don't need to resist, Irene is here. Seeing that Huang Quan Bai Luo's face became extremely embarrassing, Lin Yan laughed and said. Hearing what the master said, Irene was immediately extremely proud, and raised her two heads high, with an attitude of, all spread out, let me do it. Dragon Flame Breath. Open black lens bracket Frost Breath close black lens bracket. Two completely different dragon breaths, one red and one white, spat out from Irene's two heads at the same time, washing forward like two torrents, and then a series of dense damage floated up from the shadow warrior. -500. Burn. -503. Burn. -495. Deceleration. -501. Deceleration. ... After the level was raised to level 9, Irene's attack increased again. Under the washing of the torrent of two color flames, the blood volume of the shadow warrior began to drop rapidly, and the blood volume of the shadow warrior shrouded by two kinds of flames was even higher. It dropped a quarter in one fell swoop. After the two dragon flame breaths, Irene rushed forward and started fighting with these shadow warriors. With a blood volume of more than 6,000 points and terrifying defenses, the damage these shadow fighters can do to her can only fluctuate in double digits, and they pose no threat to Irene at all, and they need masters like those Wisdom Underground. The pets that come to feed the blood recovery potion are different. Irene can use the blood restoration potion by herself, so Lin Yan doesn't have to worry at all. But the reverse is different. Irene's attack power has already broken through 200 points, and now it is approaching 300 points. Even if you don't use any skills, just basic attacks, these shadow warriors can't stand it at all, let alone Irene also activates such a powerful skill as Dragon Claw 5 Strike from time to time, and the shadow warriors she killed complained again and again. Seeing this scene, Huang Quan Bai Luo was stunned, and even began to doubt life. What the hell is this hurting? Group attacks, and such a terrifying output, what grade is this pet? While her heart was shaking, Huang Quan Bai Luo couldn't help but look down at the cute little rabbit lying on her feet. She was really speechless. Her pet rabbit is of the bronze rank, which is undoubtedly much better than the black iron pets of most players in Shinsho village. It's just a matter of this world, and the most fearful thing is comparison. People are dead compared to others, and goods are thrown away. Compared with Lin Yan's Irene, her bronze pet rabbit is nothing. Hanyu, what grade is your white wolf? Looking at the pet her sister was holding, she asked with a twitch in her heart. The white wolf is a very common pet in the world of divine pets. Its grades range from black iron to red gold, and it is one of the player's favorite pets. Gold grade, Hanyu casually replied as her eyes fell on Lin Yan's handsome archery body. Golden rank, Huang Quan Bai Luo opened his mouth in disbelief. No, how did you get such a high-level pet? This bronze ranked pet of hers was a reward for completing a difficult task in Novice Village. After it was hatched, many players around it envied it, but now it seems that it is nothing at all. Ah, the first time I saw Brother Lin Nian, he gave it to me. While talking, Hanyu seemed to hear something, and her face turned red immediately. Scent, gold rank pet, meeting for the first time. Grasping a few key words, Huangquan Beluo fell into a daze. At this stage, a golden pet egg is basically priceless, especially after the major consortiums announced their presence in World of Divine Pets a few days ago. Rare items in the game, such as golden pet eggs, have already disappeared. It was fired at a sky-high price. Such a precious thing, the other party gave it away directly like this. Is this guy really stupid or really rich? Even if he doesn't need it, he can get a lot of money if he sells it. Lin Nian didn't know what Huangquan Bai Luo was feeling at this moment. As time went by, the bloodlines of the shadow warriors around him and Irene's joint attack had reached a precarious level. After finding a good angle, he asked Irene not to attack, and then activated the skill Wrath of the Stars. With a flash of starlight, a feathered arrow carrying astonishing power suddenly landed in the middle of the shadow warrior. Boom! Accompanied by a thunderous roar, explosive damage instantly rose around, and then all the shadow warriors around had rows of numbers floating above their heads. -335. -320. -329. -331. ... Ding, you killed the shadow warrior, you gained experience. Ding, ding. A series of prompts popped up like mushrooms after rain, making Lin Nian's experience gradually increase. Although shadow fighters comparable to elite monsters are more difficult to deal with, the experience points they give are far more than normal enhanced monsters, and with the fall of shadow fighters, Slaughter Bow, the bloody light on his body flickered again and again, adding 12 points of attack power in the blink of an eye. Hanyu, Beluo, you too, don't stand still, pick up the fallen spoils. Lin Nian couldn't help urging them, seeing the two of them staying in place. Oh, okay. Huangquan Beluo responded subconsciously, and then went to clean the battlefield naturally. But as soon as she squatted down, she suddenly felt something was wrong. Didn't I come to raid the dungeon? Why are you starting to pick up the spoils now? Could this be her real duty in the raider's dungeon? For a moment, Huangquan Beluo felt that he was a little stupid. Forget it, I still don't think so much for the time being, let's clean up the spoils first. Thinking this way in his heart, Bai Luo Huangquan began to pack up a pile of items that fell on the ground. No, why is the explosion rate so high? Just as he settled down to pick up the dropped equipment, Bai Luo Huangquan realized something was wrong again. Even if the item drop rate of the dungeon in nightmare difficulty is much higher, wouldn't it be so exaggerated? Although there was a murmur in his heart, Bai Luo Huangquan still quickly cleaned the battlefield. To this, Lin Nian already had an answer in his heart, because he was in a special state right now. Shadow Tide Opener. As the opener of the Shadow Tide dungeon, your item drop rate in the Shadow Tide dungeon is plus 100%, and there is a 10% chance of dropping higher level items. All items obtained when clearing the copy of Shadow Tide for the first time are doubled. Such a powerful state, coupled with the template level luck feat on him, and the relatively high item drop rate of the nightmare level dungeon itself, resulted in such a scene of equipment everywhere. Because it was a 3-person team, Lin Nian could also see the equipment picked up by Huangquan Beluo and Hanyu. Although there were a lot of equipment dropped, the good and the bad were mixed, but there were still some things that made his eyes shine. Shadow Belt, Shadow Set 1/5. Quality, Blue. Use requirements, LV8. Attributes, Constitution plus 10, Strength plus 5, Blood Volume plus 80. Features, plus 10 backpack spaces. The shadow suit consists of belt, cloak, shoes, armor, necklace. Set effect, turn on the first set attribute after wearing 3 pieces. Cloak of Shadows, Shadow Set 1/5. Quality, Blue. Use requirements, LV8. Attributes, Dexterity plus 5, Strength plus 5, Spirit plus 5. Features, Critical strike rate plus 5%. The shadow suit consists of belt, cloak, shoes, armor, necklace. Set effect, the first set attribute will be opened after collecting 3 pieces. The 5-piece blue suit is definitely considered the best in this period of time. After all, there are only 2 pieces of equipment on Lin Yan's body that are higher in grade than blue, let alone other players at this time. After discussing with Hanyu and Wangquan Beluo, Lin Yan equips Irene with these 2 pieces of equipment. After all, everyone now knows that Irene is the real main output. Lightly dealt with the monsters attracted by the first wave, Lin Yan repeated the old plan, and after attracting 3 or 4 waves of shadow fighters back and forth, all the monsters around him were cleared, and the shadow suits were also dropped in various ways. 7 or 8 pieces, but 1 shadow necklace is still missing. Shadow shoes, shadow set 1/5. Quality, blue. Use requirements, LV8. Attribute, dexterity plus 1/5. Features, when passing through woods, stone piles, swamps, and densely vegetated areas, the movement speed is only reduced to 90% of the original. The shadow suit consists of belt, cloak, shoes, armor, necklace. Set effect 1. All attributes plus 10, HP plus 300. Shadow armor, shadow set 1/5. Quality, blue. Use requirements, LV8. Attributes, constitution plus 10, HP plus 200. Characteristics, all damage received is reduced by 5%. The shadow suit consists of belt, cloak, shoes, armor, necklace. Set effect 1. All attributes plus 10, HP plus 300. Set effect 2. Attack speed plus 20%. After changing into a suit of equipment, the 3 continued to move forward, and soon encountered a new shadow creature. Shadow Mage Reinforced Monster, Shadow Creature. Level, LV10. HP, 3500. Skills, Body of Shadow, Cloud of Poison Mist, Heart of Darkness, Magic Burning. Introduction. One of the lowest existences among shadow creatures, mastered the most basic magical power, trying to kill the life of the main world with this. The attributes of the Shadow Mage and the Shadow Warrior are basically the same, but compared with the Shadow Warrior, the blood volume of the Shadow Mage is lower, and the attack attribute is higher. Lin Yan didn't bother to listen to the mechanical roar of these shadow mages, and directly fired monsters after shooting an arrow with a damage value of -212. After defeating several waves of shadow creatures, the attack power of the slaughtering bow has been increased by about 40 points, making Lin Yan's output more and more frightening. Seeing her master meeting the enemy, Irene was naturally unwilling to lag behind. As soon as she spit out her 2 heads, 2 distinct flames ignited. -530. Burn. -518. Burn. -523. Slow down. -526. Slow down. After putting on the new equipment, Irene's damage output has increased again, and now dealing with these shadow mages, the output is even more explosive. But as usual, the final chance to kill was given to Lin Yan. The damage of Fury of the Stars increased with the increase of Lin Yan's attack power. At this moment, with the sound of boom, it can be seen that the damage exceeds 400 points from time to time, damage. At this time, Wangquan Beluo has gradually become accustomed to the terrifying damage caused to Irene and Lin Yan, and the focus of attention has shifted from Irene to Lin Yan. This piece really reflects the strength of a player. Lin Yan's behavior of attracting monsters, dragging them, and then gathering these shadow creatures together seems simple, but it is not so easy to operate in practice. It is necessary to avoid attacks and control damage, so as to prevent monsters from directly losing their targets when the hatred is too low. To lead them to one place, ordinary professional players can't do this. Although Huang Quan Biluo's game awareness is not as good as those of the top players, she still has vision. She has played several online games before and met many so-called masters of archers. Compared with Lin Yan's technology, it is far behind. The same bow and crossbow in hand, different people use it, the effect is completely different. Chen Xing. I've never heard of this id before. Could it be that a professional gamer has changed into a new vest? Thinking of this, Huang Quan Biluo's eyes lit up, and he felt that everything seemed to make sense. After all, the miraculous skill shown by the other party at this time cannot be displayed by a little-known little person. As for why the vest was changed, this is not uncommon in the professional player circle. It is basically because of conflicts with the contracted studio or some brother's betrayal. Some have to hand over their past ids, and the last one was disheartened and decided to start all over again. In an instant, Huangquan Beluo imagined a 60-episode series about Lin Yan's grievances and grievances. Ding, your pet dragon Aileen's skill, Dragon Flame Breath, has been upgraded to LV2. Has the skill finally been upgraded? Hearing the system prompt, Lin Yan nodded. The skill level in God's Pet World is extremely difficult to improve. Each level requires a lot of proficiency, and the more exaggerated it becomes in the later stages. Dragon Flame Breath LV2. Spit out a flaming dragon's breath, causing damage equal to 250% of its spiritual attack power to surrounding enemies, and with a 10's flame burning effect. Cooling time, 25s. After Dragon Flame's breath is raised to LV2, the attack damage has increased by 50%, the cooling time has been changed from 30s to 25s, and the output frequency has been further increased. Man Yi nodded, and told Han Yu and Huangquan Bai Luo to pack up their loot, and everyone continued to move forward, and this time they were confronted by the boss who made the world's guilds a little speechless, Shadow Shepherd Walter. Shadow Shepherd Walter, Boss, Shadow Creature. Level, LV15. Blood volume, 25,000. Skills, Body of Shadow, Priest's Lash, Dark Strike, Bloodthirsty Strike, Heart of Rage. Introduction. One of the many forms born of shadow creatures. Unlike the low-level shadow creatures, Walter already has his own ideas and has a certain amount of wisdom. Because of the addition of the shadow race, Walter's blood volume, which should have been more than 10,000 points, doubled directly, but his attack power was only strengthened to a certain extent, and did not reach an exaggerated value. However, the root cause of Walter's headaches for all major guilds was not because he was such a formidable character, but because he was always surrounded by two elite shadow guards. Shadow Guardian, Elite Monster, Shadow Creature. Level, LV12. HP, 9000. Skills, Shadow Body, Shadow Guardian, Death Charge, Defense Form. Introduction. Shadow Shepherd Walter is a special guard born from the transformation of part of the power of Shadow, and has absolute loyalty to him. One Shadow Shepherd Walter is enough to make the top players of the big guild tired of dealing with it, not to mention there are two shadow guards escorting them. It is not easy for players to imagine killing the boss. After all, Tide of Shadows is just a 5-player dungeon. One strengthened Lord Monster plus 2 elite monsters means at least 3 main MTS or baby meat shields to resist. Of course, this is only the most ideal situation. Generally speaking, to deal with such a boss alone, at least one Master T and one Deputy T should take turns to watch him, and 4 or 5 priests can barely cope with the blood brush status. But it's just a 5-player dungeon. How can there be so many positions for MTS and priests? Even if all the pet babies of the players are allocated, what about the output? Without enough output, everything is crap. However, Lin Yan was not worried about this bug-like existence of Irene. Humans, you shouldn't have broken in here. Go back, I will forgive your rudeness. Seeing Lin Yan and his group, Walter looked compassionate like a priest. Pretentious, Irene, hit him. Lin Yan won't listen to his nonsense. This boss is just talking nicely. Besides, this is a dungeon, not in the wild. He came here just to kill him. Beep beep beep, beep beep beep. The two heads exhaled at the same time, and then 2 completely different flames enveloped Walter and his 2 guards. Minus 385. Burn. Minus 263. Frost. 2 flames landed on Walter. Because of his own various resistance and defense bonuses, Irene's output has obviously dropped by a notch. If the level of Dragon Flame Breath hadn't been raised to LV2, I'm afraid the damage just now not even 300. But the 2 shadow guards don't have as high resistance and defense as the boss. Minus 601. Burn. Minus 603. Burn. Minus 489. Frost. Minus 506. Frost. While Irene was attacking, Lin Yan was not idle, shooting arrow after arrow. Minus 192. Minus 196. The biggest advantage of having Irene output is that no matter how much Lin Yan's damage is, there is no need to worry about the hatred value being attracted. Although the attack power of the slaughter bow has exceeded 100 points under the blessing of its own characteristics, the DPS provided by Lin Yan holding the slaughter bow is still far behind that of Irene, but it is completely a tool as before. Compared with the situation of human beings, it is undoubtedly much better. Ding! The feathered arrow you shot triggers the characteristics of Crossel's mask, and the Shadow Guard enters a comatose state. Close black lens bracket. Note: burning effect. Lose 1/10 of the damage value of the attack at that time per second. Sleepy effect. Unable to move or attack within 3s, wake up immediately after being attacked. Chapter 51. Seeing that the Shadow Guard fell into a sleeping state, Lin Yan immediately took a bow and shot an arrow at another Shadow Guard. The configuration of one leader leading two elites is indeed powerful. The key point is that these three guys are still stuck together like brown sugar, refusing to separate, so there is no way to lure them out one by one to kill them. So Lin Yan's idea is very simple, that is, breaking down one by one. First get rid of the two Shadow Guards around Shadow Shepherd Walter, and then concentrate on dealing with his boss, which will naturally get twice the result with half the effort. Irene and Lin Yan have cooperated countless times, and she has a very high fighting talent. Seeing Irene switch attack targets at this moment, she immediately understands what Lin Yan means. Close black lens bracket. It fell directly on the Shadow Guard who was entangled with her endlessly. -248. -298. -372. -446. -496. -270. True damage. Just listening to swish a few times, Irene instantly caused more than 2,000 points of terrifying damage to the Shadow Guard. After releasing the skill, Irene was still relentless, biting at the Shadow Guard with two heads at the same time. With the 20% attack speed bonus of the Shadow Suit, Irene is now much faster no matter what she does, and it is the same when fighting at this time, each damage keeps beating. The same was true for Lin Yan. He kept shooting arrows non-stop, and soon, the blood volume of this Shadow Guard was about to bottom out. Wrath of the Stars. At the last moment, Lin Yan directly activated the skill attached to the slaughter bow, and then only heard a boom, which instantly brought out a lot of damage. As before, it fell on the Shadow Guard and caused more than 400 points of skill damage, while it only dealt 300 points of damage to Shadow Priest Walter. Ding! You killed the Shadow Guard. The experience reward for killing monsters by leapfrogging is 150%. You got experience X 9000. Ding! You killed the Shadow Guard. The characteristic of the killing bow is triggered, and the attack power is +1. With one Shadow Guard missing, it becomes easier for Irene to deal with it. Although the amount of blood lost by Irene so far is basically caused by Shadow Priest Walter, the damage dealt by the two Shadow Guards is extremely limited, but the constant harassment of the two of them and the release of various skills also affected Irene's output to a certain extent. One Shadow Guard fell, and the other Shadow Guard naturally couldn't last long. Before long, only Walter was left fighting alone in the field. Stupid guy, feel the wrath of the Shadow Priest. Seeing two figures falling down one after another, Walter roared, blood burst from his body, and then a layer of armor-like existence condensed on him, and then he charged towards Irene fiercely. Open black lens bracket. Bloodthirsty attack. Close black lens bracket. Introduction. When the Shadow Priest activates the skill, Walter's mental attack power is converted into physical attack power, and his own movement speed is temporarily increased by 50%, and then he causes 500 points of damage and 3s stun to a nearby enemy. Boom! Accompanied by a figure slamming over, Irene stepped back, and then a dizzy effect was marked on her body. Seeing that Irene couldn't move, a gloomy look flashed in Walter's eyes, and then he directly launched a wave of counterattacks. Priest whips, dark strike, one after another. The damage numbers kept floating from Irene's body, but apart from the extremely high damage caused by the initial bloodthirsty attack, other damages were completely acceptable to Irene. As soon as the 3s time came, Irene woke up, and immediately launched a counterattack, with Dragon's Breath and Sharp Claws waving non-stop. It has to be said that Walter's bloodthirsty attack ability is indeed a bit perverted. The super high speed added to the skill makes it impossible for players to dodge this blow. Once it hits, it will cause high damage of 500 points. It can resist there. Even a meat shield pet baby is a bit choking, and even if it barely survives, the target will be stunned for 3 seconds. This is the most terrible thing. For a boss like Shadow Priest Walter, 3 seconds is enough to do too many things. Even if the direct incidental damage can be resisted by a pet baby with a meat shield, Walter can't move or attack for 3 seconds. Can kill at will. And in a 5-player dungeon like this, once any player or pet is missing, there will be only one result: group destruction. But Lin Yen doesn't have to worry about this at all, because Irene not only has scary high physical and magic attacks, but her defense and blood volume are not comparable to any pet baby at this stage, so even if she suffers from such a powerful skill after that, Irene can still fight back and forth with the opponent, and has the upper hand. And without the shadow guards involved, most of the skills and attacks released by Walter were directly avoided by Irene's dexterous body, and the actual damage caused was extremely limited. Time goes by, accompanied by 2 flames of different colors spit out from Irene's mouth. No matter how unwilling Walter was, he finally fell like this. Hateful, stupid human being, I will revive again. The Shadow Prince will definitely avenge me. Like the bosses who fell under Lin Yen in the past, Walter completely turned into a white light after uttering a few final wailing words. Tisk tisk, this experience. Lin Yen's heart skipped a beat as he looked at the experience bar that had risen wildly. Leader-level monsters are powerful. Although the racial characteristics of shadow creatures make them more difficult to deal with than ordinary leader-level monsters, the experience they give is also richer. Looking at the items scattered all over the floor, Lin Yen as at a glance, he saw a necklace. Shadow necklace, shadow set 1/5. Quality, blue. Use requirements, LV8. Attributes, Spirit +10, Constitution +5. Features, Mana consumption -10% when casting skills. The shadow suit consists of belt, cloak, shoes, armor, necklace. All suit attributes are activated. Set effect 1. All attributes +10, HP +300. Set effect 2. Attack speed +20%. Set effect 3. Additionally cause 25% shadow damage. At this point, Aaron is finally wearing a full shade suit. The last activated set attribute is also quite powerful, basically equivalent to increasing Irene's damage output by a quarter, making her DPS even more scary. In addition, there is another item that also caught Lin Yen's attention. Special item, Stone of Proficiency. Effect. After using it, the proficiency obtained by using the skill in the next 24hx5. Effect. Magic Stone, it can make your skill level upgrade faster. Note, it is automatically bound after picking up and cannot be traded. Provides 5 times the skill proficiency. This is really a good thing. In World of Divine Pets, no matter the player or the pet, it is difficult to improve the skill level, and the existence of the proficiency stone can greatly speed up the player's skill upgrade speed, but this thing not only has a relatively low drop rate, but it will be automatically bound in the end, so it is difficult to circulate in the market, but it has always been loved by the majority of players. Lin Yen never thought that he would be able to get one now. Sure enough, a nightmare dungeon is a nightmare dungeon. Although the difficulty is high, the rewards are equally generous enough to make people envious. This is for you, you should be able to use it just right. Lin Yen handed a long blue sword to Huangquan Bai Lua while looking at the dazzling array of items on the ground. Lin Yen remembered that in his previous life, Huangquan Baluo seemed to be walking the path of a paladin, so it was just right to give this blue long sword to the other party. Okay, then I won't be polite. Huangquan Baluo didn't procrastinate, and took the long sword from Lin Yen's hand directly, swung it a few times, and found it quite convenient. His original weapon was just a green outfit. Its attributes are completely incomparable with the long sword that Lin Yen handed him. Okay, then move on. Lin Yen couldn't wait to meet the final boss after killing open Black Lens Bracket Shadow Priest Walter close Black Lens Bracket. After activating all the effects of the shadow suit, Irene has become unstoppable, and all kinds of shadow creatures along the road are quickly cleaned up. Sensing the approach of Lin Yen and his group, the ultimate boss Shadow Prince of Tide of Shadow coldly opened his eyes, and glanced at Lin Yen and his group with extremely indifferent eyes. Shadow Prince Laurent, Lord Monster, Shadow Creature. Level, LV18. Blood Volume, 120,000. Skills, Body of Shadow, Heart of Rage, Chains of Shadow, Trampling of War. Lord Skill, Shadow Storm. Introduction. A high-level creature born among shadow creatures, his strength has been greatly limited due to the suppression of the world plane. Even among the Shadow clan that wanders in the void, the Prince of Shadow is one of the extremely powerful existences. Lord Blame. This is the first time Lin Nian has seen a Lord monster since his rebirth, and his blood volume of 120,000 points directly shows his powerful strength. In World of Divine Pets, the stronger the monster, the higher the blood volume. Although this is not absolute, it is basically an established fact, and there are few exceptions. Normally, the blood volume of a Lord monster around level 18 should be around 70,000, but because of the blessing of the shadow creature's racial characteristics, Lawrence's blood volume directly broke through 100,000, reaching a terrifying 120,000 blood volume. With such an existence, how difficult it is for players to defeat him. In addition to having blood volume far exceeding monsters of the same level, all lords have their own exclusive lord skills, which are the same as certain personal specialties of players, but the latter is unique, but the former does not. But there is no doubt that every lord skill is full of lethality. Lin Nian, what should I do? Huang Quan Beluo glanced at the attributes of the boss, and was a little dumbfounded now. With such a high blood volume, how can he fight this? What can I do to him? After so many years, have human beings finally come here again? After the extremely indifferent eyes fell on everyone, there was a hint of pain and confusion in the eyes of the Prince of Shadows. I've been stuck here for too long, and I've almost forgotten what the void tastes like, and I can only feel the passage of time silently. Humans, you are not the first batch of enemies to break in here, but all the human beings who broke in the past failed. They attacked out one after another, but fell one after another. I hope you can let this is where I end. Perhaps, returning to the ruins is the true meaning of all life. With a long sigh, Laurent launched an offensive. War trampling. Boom. After activating the skill, in the blink of an eye, the ground centered on Laurent began to vibrate violently. Irene, who was originally in the forefront, not only suffered a series of injuries on her head, but also fell into a once dizzy state. After waking up, Irene also seemed to know that she had better not fight with the opponent for the time being. As soon as the figure retreated, a chain of shadows entangled itself, and then one after another, damage numbers kept floating from Irene. At the same time, the Shadow Prince's body was also quickly approaching Irene, and he was seen holding his right hand. With a wave of shadow energy, there was an extra harvest formed by the power of shadow in his hand, sickle. Open black lens bracket shadow cutting close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket shadow cutting close black lens bracket. Fortunately, before the Shadow Prince launched the ultimate attack this time, Irene had already gotten rid of the shackles of the shadow chains, and thus avoided the subsequent 2 consecutive shadow blows. Another tough guy who cultivates both magic and martial arts. Seeing the series of skills displayed by the Prince of Shadows, Lin Nian couldn't help but complain. The so-called Shuangshou of magic and martial arts refers to the fact that monsters not only have the same long-range attack ability as mages, but also have the same melee combat ability as warriors. This kind of boss is the most annoying for players to open up new maps or raid new dungeons. The characters you encounter are, after all, the same as the players. The more ways the boss fights, the more difficult the boss will be. Irene flinched, and after avoiding the 2 consecutive blows, she opened her mouth fiercely, and the Dragon Flame Breath and the Frost Breath were activated simultaneously. -312. Burn. -256. Frost. Accompanied by the intertwining of 2 completely different flames, 2 damage values floated out of the boss, but it is obvious that the defense attribute of the Shadow Prince is higher than that of the Shadow Priest, and the damage caused by the flames ejected by Irene is even greater. Low. The Shadow King seemed indifferent to the damage he had suffered. Seeing Irene attacking beside him, it was another war stomp. Shadow Chain. Open black lens bracket shadow cutting close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket void gaze close black lens bracket. ... The Shadow Prince's skills seem to be free of money, and they keep throwing them out one by one. Irene seems to have fired a real fire at this moment. Fall on the Prince of Shadows. Irene can dodge the skills that can be avoided as much as possible, and if she can't dodge, she will fight hard. Irene's current figure shows that her movements are extremely dexterous, so as long as her movement is not restricted by the range control skills, the boss's other skill damage and attacks will not really fall on her. Seeing how ferocious Irene was, Lin Yan immediately shot a few arrows and released Wrath of the Stars before abandoning the bow and using the sword. Unlike previous battles where he could still intervene, the current battle is completely out of Lin Yan's control. Even with the characteristic blessing of Elf Guardian Medal, ignore level +5, Lin Yan and Shadow, there is still level suppression among princes, and Lord level creatures all have hidden attribute blessings. The damage he can cause to the opponent is actually very small, so Lin Yan simply changed to a long sword in this situation. Continuously cast Sword Chi Slash and use the attached Penetrate effect to make Irene better output. Lin Yan still has a deep understanding of who is the real big brother. Thousands of words, turned into one sentence, Irene is amazing. ... Seeing that the fight between the two sides was in full swing, Lin Yan thought for a while, and activated the skill attached to the Ring of the Wolf King, Priest Summoning. Priest Summoning. You can summon a White Wolf Priest to assist you in battle. As soon as he was summoned, the White Wolf Priest let out a wolf howl, and then a fireball fell directly on the Shadow Prince. -15. A huge wave of flames rose up, which seemed to be full of momentum, but the damage it could cause was pitifully small, but there was no way to do it, the difference in level between the two sides was too great. Seeing that such an attack had no effect, and the Shadow Prince was unmoved at all, Lin Yan ordered the White Wolf Priest to ram directly towards the boss. He didn't believe that the other party would not be moved. Sure enough, although because of Irene's super high DPS, the Shadow Prince's hatred value has been firmly locked on her, regardless of others, but he couldn't stand the flies buzzing in his ears non-stop, and he was angry at the moment. Leaving Irene behind, she slapped the White Wolf Priest on the body, and with a click, the White Wolf Priest's blood volume dropped by about 1/3. Seeing that the Shadow Prince continued to chase, Lin Yan hurriedly let the White Wolf Priest escape. After all, it was just a strengthened monster, and it was impossible to overthrow the sky, but the White Wolf Priest had not run far, and was trampled by the boss. To add shadow, the chains were harvested directly. During this period, Irene swallowed a bottle of blood recovery potion large by herself, coupled with the effect of Wonkwon Billowo's blood recovery array. The blood volume lost in the battle with the Shadow Prince instantly regained more than half. All life will be in ruins, let me end it all. But at this moment, the Shadow Prince suddenly stood still and began to mutter to himself. Knowing that the other party wanted to magnify his move, Lin Yan felt nervous, and hurriedly called Irene back. The Prince of Shadow's Lord's skill did a lot of damage, so he didn't want to let Irene take risks. Shadow Storm. With the roar of the Shadow Prince, a series of terrifying storms swept across, instantly occupying all of Lin Yan's vision. MD, a full-scale blow. Lin Yan couldn't help but tighten his heart as he watched the terrifying storms raging all around him, and subconsciously hugged Irene, who had returned to his arms. Hanyu. No. Hearing Lin Yan calling out to her, Hanyu immediately accepted it, and then activated the skill Azure Sky. It has to be said that the skill attached to the Azure Necklace is really powerful, and it is not an exaggeration to say that it is a magical skill. The effect of freeze invincibility. When dealing with some unsolvable big moves of the boss, the protective effect is really good. At this moment, the Shadow Storm was raging everywhere, and Lin Yan, Hanyu, and Wonkwon Billuo were naturally also attacked, but with the existence of invincibility, all the damage they received was 0. When the invincibility time is over, the raging of the Shadow Storm is coming to an end. Eileen, come on. When the Lord Monster releases such a powerful skill, it will usually enter a period of weakness after using it. During this period, the boss's attack, defense and even skill release frequency will be reduced. How could Lin Yan give up such a good opportunity? Right now, Wonkwon Billuo has also found her position, and she also knows that it will be useless for her to go up and attack the Shadow King at this time, so Anangsen became a part-time priest, and kept releasing the blood formation under Irene's figure. And Irene also changed the way of fighting, adopting the guerrilla warfare of, the enemy advances and retreats, and the enemy retreats and advances, constantly fighting a war of attrition with the Shadow King. No matter how much blood the Shadow King has, he cannot withstand such waves. The consumption of the original long blood bar began to be emptied continuously. And as the blood volume continued to drop, the blood on the Shadow Prince's body began to flicker, obviously activating the skill Heart of Rage. Irene, use the power to destroy your real name. Seizing the opportunity, Lin Yan made a decisive decision. Hearing Lin Nian's words, Irene's eyes lit up, and from the depths of her galloping blood, a primitive rune quietly emerged, releasing unspeakable brilliance again. Open black lens bracket Dragon Claw 5 combos close black lens bracket. Minus 2168. True damage. Minus 2600. True damage. Minus 3252. True damage. Minus 3902. True damage. Minus 4336. True damage. Minus 2168. True damage. Dragon Flame Breath. Open black lens bracket Frost Breath close black lens bracket. Minus 5102. True damage Burn. Minus 4428. True damage Frost. Lin Nian had roughly calculated before that after activating the Destroy Real Name feature, all of Irene's attacks would quadruple the original value, and all the damage would be real damage. And at this moment, after the Prince of Shadows activated the effect of the skill effect of the Heart of Rage, Irene's output damage in an instant has reached 8 times the original. After launching 2 skills in a row, 7 numbers instantly popped up on the boss, and the cumulative damage caused was even closer to a terrifying 30,000 points. What an amazing concept! It is worthy of being a super god level pet. However, after using the power of destroying her real name to activate her skills, Irene's originally high aura suddenly subsided. Lin Nian looked at Irene's attribute panel and found that Irene's thousands of mana had been emptied in an instant. Sure enough, the amount of mana consumed by the explosion of ultra-high damage must also be terrifying. After being output by Irene, the Shadow Prince's blood volume finally bottomed out. He looked down at the wound on his body, but there was a look of relief on his face. Finally, is it going to end? He lowered his head and murmured. The Shadow Prince's body crashed down. Call. Seeing this, Lin Nian felt a little relieved. He had to say that the Prince of Shadows was the strongest boss he had encountered so far in this life. It's just that Lin Nian just relaxed, but saw a phantom of the soul quietly appearing. Open black lens bracket Shadow Prince Lawrence Soul close black lens bracket. Status. Invincible. Introduction. The last obsession and sustenance of Laurent, Prince of Shadows. Human, you are powerful. A long time ago, I should have died, but this seal has been restraining me, so that I don't even have the right to control my own life and death. Speaking of this, Lawrence's soul also showed a touch of extremely sad and angry. I am about to fall into ruins, but my daughter, she is just an unborn child, I don't want her to die like me, so, are you willing to take care of her for me? Although she has not yet been officially born in this world, but I can feel that the potential she has is far beyond mine. After the words fell, a row of options appeared in front of Lin Nian. A. Yes, it is my great honor to be able to take care of your child. Close black lens bracket. B. I don't want to. I feel that I can't bear such a responsibility. Close black lens bracket. C. Yes, of course I am very happy to have such a strong partner. Close black lens bracket. D. If you don't want to, what does that have to do with me? Close black lens bracket. After thinking for a while, Lin Nian directly chose option Circa. Lin Nian will naturally not consider the two options B and D. As for option A, it is undoubtedly too high sounding. An old fox like the Shadow Prince who has been in the human world for a long time will definitely not like this kind of answer. Human, I'm glad you made the right choice. Hearing Lin Nian's answer, a relieved smile appeared on the Prince of Shadows' face, and then saw him grasp the void, and an amber crystal emerged out of thin air. Then it floated down in front of Lin Nian. What is inside is still unclear for the time being, but since the Shadow Prince has done this, Lin Nian naturally took things under his control without hesitation. Seeing this scene, a relieved smile appeared on the face of the Shadow Prince, and then the soul body dissipated like sand in the wind. Until this time, the Prince of Shadow Laurent was truly dead. Immediately, rows of dazzling golden announcements appeared in front of the screens of all players in the world, and it was difficult for some players not to see them. Ding! Global announcement. Congratulations to Tianxing Guild players Morningstar Wangquan Beluo Hanyu for the world first kill Prince of Shadow Laurent Nightmare level. Rewards. Gold coins times 100, church reputation times 1000, church faith times 500, purple equipment box times 1. Team rewards. Gold coins x 100, church reputation x 500, church faith x 100, blue equipment box x 3. Special items. Blue equipment box level 1 to 20. Introduction. After opening the equipment box, the player will randomly get a piece of blue equipment that matches the current level. Special items. Purple equipment box level 1 to 20. Introduction. After opening the equipment box, the player will randomly get a piece of purple equipment that matches the current level. Ding. Global announcement. Congratulations Tianxing Guild for being the first to clear the copy of Shadow Tide and get a reward, medium-sized guild territory ×1. This event will be permanently recorded in God Pet World Milestone. The legend has been born since then. Rise. Open black lens bracket medium-sized guild territory close black lens bracket. Introduction. A magical territory for guild players to station, build, and develop. The guild can recruit various types of NPCs to work here. Ding. Global announcement. Ding. Global announcement. All the content of the announcement was swiped 3 times in a row, and the screens of all players were now occupied by flashing golden subtitles. After a moment of astonishment, all players in the world fell into an unprecedented boiling. In fact, just before Lin Nian cleared the instance of Tide of Shadow, the world's major super guilds basically showed their attitudes on various platforms. Although it is impossible for the core main teams of the major guilds to live broadcast the progress of the raid Shadow Tide, for the sake of popularity, guild development, and platform requirements, the major super guilds basically send the main second team to live broadcast the raid Shadow Tide close black lens bracket the whole process. However, during the process of conquering Tide of Shadow, guilds continued to express their views, and even the specific process of conquering the boss was constantly released, attracting everyone's attention. Sun God Sphinx Guild. With the equipment, level, and skills of players at this stage, it is impossible to conquer the Tide of Shadows. Dongying Iaido Guild. The Iaido Guild will never give up the world first kill, and everyone believes in us. Korea Sakura Guild temporarily announced that it will withdraw from the battle for the world's first kill, and concentrate on improving the overall player strength of the guild. Freedom Kingdom God of War Guild. The God of War Guild has conquered the last level of the boss, and will soon complete the world's first kill. Please continue to support. Arab Republic Faith Guild. Faith will not give up on the raiders of Shadow Tide dungeons, and here is another announcement. All major professional players in the world are sincerely invited to join the Faith Guild. Money is not a problem. ... Hateful, stupid human being, I will revive again. The Shadow Prince will definitely avenge me. With the final catharsis of the Shadow Priest, this difficult boss finally fell down. Phew, I finally got this guy done. Tianbang Master Imperial City Tianxia sealed his throat with a knife, and after dealing hundreds of points of damage to the Shadow Priest, he heard the system beep and finally heaved a sigh of relief. If other players saw this scene at this moment, they would probably be stunned. The legendary cold-faced and ruthless master of the Tianbang Imperial City Tianxia would actually have such a detached personality in private. Imperial City Tianxia, a star player of one of the 9 super guilds of Sha Kingdom, Imperial City, is at the top of the list that professional players can't even hope to reach. Okay, Tianxia, don't be complacent. I got some news. The God of War Guild has indeed captured the final boss as they said, and we have to speed up. Imperial City Watch expression some gloomy said. Knowing that the boss was a little unhappy because the God of War Guild was faster than them in raiding dungeons, Wangcheng Tianxia also smiled embarrassingly. For a long time, Imperial City has been firmly in the position of the 9 super guilds in China, but in the World Guild rankings, the guild ranking of Imperial City has always been ranked after God of War, and since Imperial City Watch after officially taking over the Imperial City Guild, I have always wanted to catch up with the former, but I have never succeeded and instead have been under the pressure of the other party. Could it be that Imperial City Guild will lose to God of War Guild again this time? Thinking of this, Imperial City Watch felt extremely depressed. But at this moment, the golden subtitles representing the global announcement began to refresh the screen. Ding. Global announcement. Congratulations Tianxing Guild. Ding. Ding. The announcement was swiped 3 times in a row, and a row of glittering gold subtitles kept flashing. Even if they wanted to, it would be hard for them not to see it. What the hell is this Tianxing Guild? Does any of you know? The guard of the Imperial City looked at the subtitles that appeared gloomy, and asked with a frown, but saw that several other people in the Imperial City were also looking at each other. No one knows, so it means that it is not a famous big guild. After all, apart from the 9 super guilds, there are only dozens of big guilds in Huaxia. Then, where did this Tianxing guild come from? And the only clear players on the announcement are Morningstar, Han Yu, and Huangquan Beluo. What does this mean? Could it be that they just passed the level with just 3 people? You must know that the 5 of them are all masters of the heaven list, but the strategy has only just killed the Shadow Priest. How can this be? Wait, this guy who's it is Morningstar, he seems to have heard of it before. The Imperial City Watchman raised his eyebrows, as if he remembered something. Free country. The head of the God of War Guild revived from the birth point next to the instance of Shadowtide with a cold face, and shortly after his resurrection, several white lights flashed again. The main player in the Raiders dungeon. Get ready and keep trying. President, the Shadow Storm ability of the last boss is too perverted. It is impossible for us to avoid it. Hearing the indifferent but extremely firm words of the president of the God of War Guild, one of the main players finally broke down. Said. They have tried countless times, but once the Shadow Prince released the bug-like skill, Shadow Storm, they knelt down without any surprise. That's right, boss, don't try it. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's just a waste of everyone's time to upgrade. I dare say that no guild can clear this dungeon at this stage. Another main player's face was bloodshot said, his voice was indescribably tired. The voice just fell. The golden subtitles began to refresh the screen. Ding. Global announcement. Congratulations Tianxing Guild. Ding. Ding. Ah. The main team members who had just spoken looked at the flashing subtitles in astonishment, and opened their mouths into an O shape. After the Shadow Prince fell, white lights flashed on Lin Nian and Irene's bodies, and their levels were all raised to level 10, while Han Yu, who was the lowest among the 3, even flashed white lights several times. Ding, your pet dragon Irene has reached LV10. Get Strength plus 20. Get Dexterity plus 20. Get Spirit plus 20. Acquired Constitution plus 20. Ding, congratulations to your pet dragon Irene for obtaining the bloodline inheritance, Dragon's Fang. Ding, congratulations to your pet dragon Irene for learning a new skill, Elemental Storm. Dragon's Tooth Basic. Irene has mastered a more precise attack method, and the damage caused by each point of her Strength and Spirit x 1.2. Basic attributes. Elemental Storm. Move Magic. Summon an elemental hurricane to attack surrounding enemies. Range 5*5 yards. Deal 220% magic damage per second to enemies affected by the elemental hurricane. 5% chance to cause magic crit effect. 3% chance to cause a stun effect. The skill duration is 5s, and the skill cooling time is 3 minutes. Dragon's Tooth increased Irene's base damage a lot. Lin Nian is not surprised by the appearance of this passive skill. In fact, this kind of skill is actually a standard configuration for all high-level pets. Generally, when the level reaches around 20, they will comprehend similar abilities. The attribute growth of high-level pets is higher than that of ordinary pets. With such growth skills that enhance damage, the output will naturally be more explosive. This is one of the reasons why those legendary pets and legendary pets in the middle of the game can deal explosive damage. 1. But Lin Nian was also surprised by Irene's newly realized elemental storm magic. There is no doubt that the output range and duration of elemental storm are much higher than Irene's dragon flame breath and frost breath. Obviously, using this skill to clean up a large number of monsters will undoubtedly be more efficient, and it also comes with a certain amount of damage. Probable magic crit and stun characteristics, but correspondingly, the cooling time is longer, and it takes 3 minutes to release once. However, this is just an elemental storm at level 1. If the skill level is higher, the cooling time will be shortened a lot. It was too late to study how powerful Irene's skills were at this time, because after reaching level 10, Lin Nian also heard a series of notification sounds in his ears. Ding, it was detected that the level of the player Morningstar has increased to LV10, and your professional Dragon Whisperer apprentice has been automatically changed to Dragon Whisperer official. Ding, your growth point plus 2. Ding, you have obtained the mark, Secret Citation of Dragon Language. With the sound of reminders, Lin Yen found that there was a white mark on his hand at some point. Special imprint. Secret citation of dragon language. Introduce. What the hell is this? Lin Yen had never heard of this thing in his previous life, and he didn't find anything after researching it, so he simply ignored it. After checking the status of himself and Irene, Lin Yen looked again and found that Han Yu and Huangquan Bai Luo were staring at the place where the Shadow King fell. There, the equipment and items in a place are constantly shining. Copper coin times 35. Silver coin times 26. Gold coin times 10. Belt of Faith blue times 1. Sword of the Brave green times. Blade of Breaking Demons green times 1. Sure enough, the boss exploded. As the first dungeon opened in God Pet World, Lin Yen and the others are the first to kill in the world, plus he has the status of Shadow Tide Opener. The rewards for the items dropped by the boss are naturally incomparable rich. And among the flashes of blue and green lights, an incomparably dazzling purple light filled it. Open black lens bracket night shadow cloak close black lens bracket. Quality, purple. Level, LV10. Attributes, strength +5, agility +5, constitution +10, blood volume +500. Features, accept light magic, all magic resistance +10%, double the dark magic resistance, not superimposed. Introduction. Death is like the wind, always with me. This is a legendary cloak. With it, your life will be more resilient in the face of magical attacks. Mages are mages after all. Even in the world of divine pets, mage-oriented pet babies are always more popular than physical-oriented pet babies. The Night Shadow Cloak comes with a special effect of almost all magic plus 10% resistance, which undoubtedly makes the player or pet equipped with this item more resilient in the face of damage. After cleaning the battlefield, Lin Yen found that in addition to these items, there was a golden scroll on the Shadow King. Shadow City. Type, copy scroll. Limit, 5 people. Level requirements, LV25. Introduction. A magical scroll. With it, you can enter a sealed map. It's actually a dungeon scroll. The moment Lin Yen saw the item introduction, Lin Yen's eyes lit up. There are many types of dungeons in World of Pets. There are 5-player dungeons like Shadow Tide, and 10-player dungeons, 20-player dungeons, and even 50-player super dungeons specially set up for guilds will be opened in the future. However, the dungeon scroll is a type of dungeon that is arranged separately. This kind of limited dungeon is extremely rare, and it will not appear in the God Pet world in a regular form for a large number of players to challenge, but only with the dungeon scroll open. The difficulty, level, and characters of such dungeons have been set in advance, but because of their rarity, the task rewards are usually very high after clearing the level. However, the dungeon requires players to reach at least level 25 to challenge, and Lin Yen is still a bit far from this level at the moment. When your level is up, I will take you to challenge this instance. Talking, Lin Yen put away the copy, and neither Han Yu nor Huangquan Bai Luo had any objection to Lin Yen's actions. It is said that the 3 of them worked together to clear Shadow Tide, but both of them knew that they had nothing to do with it. The real reason for clearing the level was Lin Yen. Let's go, get out. Seeing that all the items had been picked up, Lin Yen nodded in satisfaction. Immediately, with a surge of white light, all 3 of them were teleported out. Outside the copy of Tide of Shadows, Ao Shi Tian Sha stared at the resurrection point, and said to Ao Shi Ching Cheng beside him with a smug face, "Let me just say, this morning star is really overconfident," and he brought 2 women with him. Going to challenge the copy of the Tide of Shadows, the lineups of all major super guilds can't beat the masters of the day, just rely on him, hee. Open black lens bracket Aoshi Chingchong close black lens bracket looking at Aoshi Tianja's fierce face and greasy body. He felt extremely disgusted, and wished to immediately take away the other party's big hands that were mopping up his body, but when he thought of the money the other party had, he immediately suppressed these feelings. Next, he drew a circle on Ao Shixia's chest with his fingers, and said with a charming look, "Brother Kun, what you said is naturally reasonable. What is that little white face, by the way, the villa you promised me last time?" "Haha, why do you want it? It's easy to say, as long as you accompany me for a spring night tonight. It's just a villa, but when the time comes, you have to take good care of me." As soon as this was mentioned, Aoshixia's blood surged all over his body, the fire in the eyes is even more undisguised. But at this moment, the golden subtitles began to refresh the screen. Ding. Global announcement. Congratulations Tianxing Guild. Ding. Ding. What are you kidding? Even the major super guilds don't have a dungeon under the raiders, so that kid just took 2 women and passed the level. How can this be? Not long after Aoshixia's thoughts turned sharply, he saw a few flashes of white light, and Lin Yan and his party happened to be transmitted from the dungeon. He was just about to step forward to ask the other party how he cheated, but he saw a burst of white light all over his body. Move, and then the whole person disappeared. Proud of the world. What the hell is this Nima? At the same moment, Hanyu and Huangquan Beluo also looked surprised. What's going on here? Huangquan Beluo opened the friend column and found that Lin Yan's name had been dimmed. Ah, I don't know. Maybe brother Lin Yan has to go offline temporarily. Hanyu opened her big watery eyes and said innocently. Offline? Why is there white light all over the offline? And just now she clearly felt a very strong magical atmosphere. Huangquan Beluo frowned, but she didn't continue to think about it. Anyway, she would know what was going on when she turned around and asked the other party. After an unknown amount of time, Lin Yan regained consciousness. System. Under the guidance of Dragon Language Secret Citation, you discovered an extremely powerful force, which seems to come from another dimension, but you seem to have an instinctive affinity for this force. System. You have discovered the secret Sumi Dragon picture. System. You have gained experience x 50,000 and reputation x 1,000. Mystery. The moment Lin Yan saw the system prompt, he instantly understood what was going on. He said, Dragon Language Secret Citation, what is the function of this thing? Was it to teleport him to the Secret Realm? Secret Realm, one of the most special maps in the World of God's Pets. They are separated from the main continent of the World of God's Pets, forming a world of their own, but they are different from those closed small worlds or those mysterious islands above the ocean, has its own world rules. In the previous life, the world of divine pets, until Lin Yan crossed over, a total of 7 secret realms were discovered by players. Every secret realm contains countless opportunities, and they are basically synonymous with golden equipment and orange equipment. It's just that the entry of all the secret realms is random. They occasionally meet with the main continent of the God's Pet world to form a space passage for entry, but the time for each meeting is very short, and the location is completely random, so whether the player can enter the secret realm at the beginning depends entirely on luck. It's just that Lin Yan remembers all the 7 great secret realms in the previous life, Forest of Kangland, Lightless Realm, City of Fog and Shadow, etc., and Picture of Sumeru Dragon is not among the 7 great secret realms at all. But it's normal for Lin Yan to think about it carefully. If you want to enter Sumi Dragon Picture, you have to transfer money to become the hidden profession of Dragon Whisperer. No one unlocked this hidden profession in the previous life. After looking at the rewards given by the system, Lin Yan could not help but click his tongue twice. The rewards given by super hidden maps like the Secret Realm are generous, and they just found out, so they directly gave 1,000 reputation points. You must know that Lin Yan made it the first time, Tide of Shadow Dungeon, only got 1,500 prestige points in total. Sure enough, there is no way to return to the city. Like a certain secret realm that Lin Yan personally encountered in his previous life, this map is a closed area. If you want to leave the secret realm, you have to die and go back. And while he was looking at his own situation, a knight on a horse seemed to have spotted his traces on this seemingly endless wilderness map and was galloping towards him. The knight hiding in the darkness is wearing a black battle armor and holding a medieval iconic spear in his hand, which looks majestic. Open black lens bracket fallen knight close black lens bracket enhanced monster. Level LV 15. HP 2750. Skills enhanced charge, dance of death, slash through the air, spear throw. Introduction. A brave knight who once believed in light, but under the temptation of dark forces, gradually lost his luck and fell into darkness, becoming a fallen knight. Ding, you have triggered the mission. Darkness. Mission progress 1. Kill 10 fallen knights. It turned out to be a fallen creature. Seeing the introduction of the monster, Lin Yan frowned slightly. Corrupted creatures are a large category of monsters in God's Pet world. All creatures that originally believed in the Lord God of Light will become so-called fallen creatures after they are attracted by dark forces and fall into darkness. Of course, the so-called degeneration is naturally corresponding. In fact, there are so-called fallen creatures in the dark camp, but those are creatures willing to get rid of darkness under the guidance of the Lord God of Light. Looking at the attributes of the fallen knight, Lin Yen didn't care too much. It's just a level 15 enhanced monster. Without Irene's intervention, Lin Yen can solve it by himself. However, in order to make a quick decision, Lin Yen still called on Irene to fight together. He shot an arrow casually, and a damage of about 200 points appeared on the fallen knight. After being attacked, the fallen knight was even more furious at the moment, holding the spear high in his hand, as if he was about to activate the throwing ability, but before his skill was fully charged, Irene opened his mouth, and the two heads spewed flames together, under the effect of frost breath. Next, not only the speed of the fallen knight dropped immediately but also the amount of blood dropped terribly. Even single target output skills like Dragon Claw 5 Strike were useless. Irene lazily made up a few flat A, the fallen knight whimpered, turned into a pile of loose bones and fell to the ground. Ding, your pet dragon Irene killed the fallen knight, and the experience reward for killing monsters by leapfrogging times 250%, you and Irene get, experience times 2800. System. Mission Progress 1, kill fallen knight 1/10. There is no challenge at all. After the fallen knight fell, he contributed a silver coin, but he had nothing else to gain. Seeing the system prompt, Lin Yen stopped thinking about what was there and what was not. Anyway, let's try to see what kind of rewards there will be for completing the task. With Irene around, Lin Yen would naturally have no problem brushing these fallen knights, but I don't know the system settings or some reason. The wandering distance of each fallen knight is relatively far. Lin Yen thought at first that the group farming mode would be impossible when they arrived. They simply took Irene to swipe them one by one. Anyway, with Irene's damage, it would be a matter of 3 or 2 to solve these fallen knights, and the two of them spent more time chasing these fallen knights. Killing 10 fallen knights was all it took. One person and one pet quickly completed the task. System. Task Progress 1 is completed, and faith points are obtained, times 50. System. Mission Progress 2, kill fallen knights, quantity 0/50. Lin Yen was overjoyed when he saw the reward for the task. Faith value has many functions. It can be used for lottery in the Church of Light, or it can be exchanged for various items. In short, it has many uses. If the player's faith value is enough, it is not a problem to exchange gold equipment, orange equipment, or even the legendary red equipment. In the previous life, some players even spent a terrifying amount of faith value to hire a legendary paladin directly from the Church of Light. Serving myself caused an uproar among many professional players. However, although faith has many functions, it is not so easy to obtain. Lin Yen completed the world first kill of Shadow Tide and gained a total of 600 faith. Moreover, this is the first dungeon of World of Divine Pets. Although the new dungeons that will be opened one after another will also have faith rewards, they will definitely be reduced a lot. Right now, after completing such a round of simple tasks, he can directly get 50 points of faith. Lin Yen is naturally very happy. However, this mission is really weird. The number of kills required in the second round of missions has directly increased by 5 times. Not knowing what was going on, Lin Yen didn't think too much about it for the time being. Anyway, if he had faith, he could just kill it. Tuk tuk, beep beep beep. Under the torture of Lin Yen and Irene, many fallen knights kept falling, and all of them turned into experience for the two to upgrade. It has to be said that the equipment drop rate of fallen knights is still very high. After such a short period of time, Lin Yen has already harvested 2 green equipment, and besides that, he also got a blue equipment blueprint. Lin Yen naturally didn't like these green equipment, but now that the guild has been established, there is no problem with filling the guild warehouse with these green equipment. If a guild wants to develop and grow in the long term, a core team, professional management, sufficient guild warehouses and working capital are all indispensable. As for equipment blueprints, now that Lin Yen has acquired a guild territory, he can recruit relevant NPCs later and throw the blueprints to the other party to build them, or he can directly recruit a group of players with production professions. Anyway, there will be sales. Half an hour later, as Lin Yan nailed an arrow to a fallen knight, clearing the opponent's bloodline, and finally completed the second round of mission progress. System. Mission progress 2 is completed, faith points gained, times 200, you have obtained the title Junior Shadow Hunter. Title. Junior Shadow Hunter. Effect. Plus 2% damage to all fallen creatures. Different from the restrictions on equipment and skills, there is no limit to the titles that each player can obtain in World of Divine Pets. According to the incomplete statistics of players in the forum in the previous life, there are thousands of known titles in the game. Many, but most of these titles are tasteless, or they are biased towards players in the life department, and there is very little bonus to attributes. The effect of the Junior Shadow Hunter title is still possible, but it is a bit similar to the title of Revenge only for the characteristics of corrupted creatures. System. Mission Progress 3, Kill Fallen Knights, Quantity 0 250ths. Did the demand for the number of kills directly increase by 5 times? Looking at the prompt given by the system, Lin Yan also frowned. If this continues to increase by 5 times, this number will become an astronomical figure in a short time. No matter, just do it. Anyway, at his current level, he won't suffer any disadvantages if he brushes up these fallen knights, and he still has faith points, so he won't suffer any disadvantages. After settling down, Lin Yan continued his offensive. But this time, while leading Irene to kill the fallen knight, he began to explore forward. He couldn't believe that there was nothing in a secret realm that had never been discovered in the previous life, except for fallen creatures. The surge in the number of kill requests led to an increase in the time required for Lin Yan and Irene to complete the task. Sumi Dragon Picture. The sky is always gloomy and dark, as if covered by a black curtain, so Lin Yan's vision in this area is also affected to a certain extent, and he can only see the environment within a certain range. Ding, you got an item. Low-level experience stone X1. After killing a fallen knight again, Lin Yan picked up a rather special item. Open black lens bracket low-level experience stone close black lens bracket. Category. Special items. Effect. Experience plus 5000 after use. Introduction. This is a special stone, which records the mysteries of cultivation. Note. Automatic binding after falling. The explosion rate of low-level experience stones in World of Divine Pets is not low, but they often only explode on some special monsters, and because of the setting of automatic binding after falling, there is no way to trade them, but if you accumulate a large amount, you can save a wave of levels. Although so far, the only creature Lin Yan has seen on this map is the Fallen Knight, but the items dropped after killing the Fallen Knight are really varied. It can be said that there are all kinds of things. In addition to the low-level experience stone, Lin Yan also obtained an attack gem that can be used to inlay. Attack gems 3 available for inlays. Attributes. Increase attack power by 15 points after mosaic. The better the quality of gems, the better the attributes that can be added. The drop rate of gems is relatively low. 3 quality gems can be regarded as a small gem in the early stage of the game. If they are sold, they will definitely get a lot of money. Wealth, but Lin Yan has no such plan. Picking up the fallen gems, Lin Yan continued to kill the fallen knights while exploring. After nearly 3 hours of extremely boring and busy work, more than 200 fallen knights were finally dealt with. System. Mission Progress 3 is completed, and you have obtained faith points, times 1000. Your title, Elementary Shadow Hunter, has been promoted to Intermediate Shadow Hunter. Title, Intermediate Shadow Hunter. Effect. Plus 4% damage to all fallen creatures, minus 1% required for all faith points to be exchanged. After the title level was raised to the middle level, the damage to fallen creatures increased by an additional 2%, but what Lin Yan paid more attention to was the effect of minus 1% required to exchange all faith points. Regardless of the light camp or the dark camp, faith points are absolutely hard currency. Although this thing cannot be traded at all, its effect is too wide, not easy. This effect may not be of much significance to ordinary players, but in Lin Yan's view, it is of great use. After all, this is only the effect attached to the title of the middle-level Shadow Hunter. If the level is raised to a higher level after that, there should be some improvement. System. Task Progress 4, Kill the Fallen Knight, 0.1250ths. Really, seeing the tasks generated by the system, Lin Yan was really speechless. The demand for kills has increased 5 times again. This is undoubtedly a huge workload, but for Lin Yan right now, he has no better choice. But that day, he didn't complete the task until Lin Yan went offline. After playing the game, Lin Yan received a Phetian letter from Hanyu, asking him what was going on. Lin Yan briefly explained, saying that he had entered a special dungeon, and he would not be able to get out for a while. The other party would tell Huang Quan Bai Luo about the development of the guild, and he would give the other party full control. Tianjin has been prosperous since ancient times. As the capital of China, the place where dragon energy gathered for thousands of years, the prosperity of Tianjin is completely unmatched by any other place in China. Although there are old-fashioned clans in every province in China nowadays, in the eyes of some people who are really in power in China, it seems that they don't mention it at all. What is a real giant? A family that can gain a firm foothold in Tianjin and stand tall can be called a real wealthy family. Over the past 100 years, there have been many major families trying to enter Tianjin, but after breaking into Tianjin, there are not many who can gain a firm foothold. The Lin family is one of them. As an upstart in Tianjin, the Lin family's intricate network and hidden strength made some established families fear it. However, what people in Beijing like to talk about nowadays, apart from how the Lin family developed step by step, is the daughter of the patriarch of the Lin family who are more keen to discuss. As a land of outstanding people, Tianjin never lacks for heroes and beauties. However, Lin Yuhuan, the daughter of the patriarch of the contemporary Lin family, is not only amazingly beautiful but also a strange woman. It is said that the reason why the Lin family has gained a firm foothold in Tianjin so quickly over the years is that Lin Jingxie has contributed a lot. Cousin, you have seen that people trust you quite a lot, saying that you are fully responsible for the affairs of the guild. In the girly boudoir, a girl about 16 or 17 kicked the quilt and said jealously. The feeling of a girl is always infinitely beautiful. The girl who is talking is wearing a light and soft pajamas. At this moment, she is completely emptying her body on the soft bed. Her exposed toes are white and her nails are ruddy, arched slightly because of tension. The baby fat on the girl's face has not completely faded, and she looks a little cute, but more of it is full of collagen and the girl's unique breath, which is clean, pure and desirable. Is that so? Lin Yuhuan, who was lying next to the girl, frowned slightly, as if surprised. Lin Yuhuan was slightly older than the girl, and she was at the prime of her life at the moment. Although she didn't wear makeup on her face, it didn't affect her delicacy and glamour at all. In this world, the beauty of some women is innate, and there is no way to do it. After going offline, as usual, Lin Yan asked Qin Yunru to arrange for those top chefs to cook a table of delicious food, while he browsed the forum while enjoying the beating of his taste buds. At this moment, on the forum, almost all the information related to Tianjin Guild's world's first access to the Wave of Shadows has been slaughtered, and even the photo posting party, which is usually in full swing, has been suppressed. Happy news. Good news. The Tianjin Guild won the first kill in the Shadow Tide dungeon. Win glory for China. A doe who can't help, the 9 super guilds who gain fame. Wanglushuan is willing to pay a high price to buy the Tianjin Guild. Please chat privately after seeing this post. The price is easy to say. Morningstar, who is it? On how the 3 of Morningstar cleared the Shadow Tide dungeon, a conjecture of the Up Master. Morningstar and the others must have cheated to pass the level, please deal with it strictly by the officials. Cheating. Seeing some deliberately smearing posts, a sneer appeared on Lin Yan's face. There are always some people who can't do some things themselves, so they just want to slander others instead of looking for reasons from themselves. Putting away the phone, Lin Yan just took a few sips of the world's top red wine when he heard an extremely hearty laugh. Haha, Lin Yan, you brat, don't call me to enjoy delicious food here alone. Brother. Hearing this voice, Lin Yan was taken aback for a moment, and then a very bright smile appeared on his face. The owner of the sudden sound was none other than Lin Shu, the oldest member of the 3rd generation of the Lin family. In the previous life, Lin Shu returned to Lin's house much later than it should now, but perhaps due to the butterfly effect, the time for the other party to return home was also earlier. Although Lin Yan and Lin Shu are not brothers of the same mother, they have a very good relationship since childhood. In the previous life, when Lin Yan was hit by the family due to various reasons, it was Lin Shu who stood up and took the turmoil for him. However, because of Lin Yang's rebellion, the entire Lin family began to fall apart. Lin Shu fell into a slump, and finally died of depression. Brother, it's great that you are still alive. Don't worry, in this life, I will never let such a thing happen again. While making up his mind, tears welled up in Lin Yan's eyes. What's the matter? Seeing Lin Yan's reaction, Lin Shu, who had just walked in, looked bewildered, and at 1.8 meters tall, he was at a loss for what to do. It's nothing, I'm just a little too excited to see you, brother. Lin Yan suppressed the fluctuating emotions in his heart and said happily. Haha, Xiao Nian, you seem to have grown a lot taller than before. Lin Shu stepped forward and gave Lin Yan a big hug. The relationship between men is so simple and pure. It's rare for me to go home, so let's hand over Lin Yang later. Let's get together, brothers. Eldest young master, before. On the side, hearing this, Qin Yunru had no choice but to tell all the things that happened during this period. What? This kid, how dare he do such a thing? Asshole. Hearing this, Lin Shu's face turned frosty, and he slapped the table with his broad palm. Others may not know it, but Lin Shu knows it very well. When Lin Yang was targeted by others in the family, it was Lin Yan who helped him deal with it. For this, he offended many old people in the family. After the opponent gained some power and confidence, he dared to deal with Lin Yan like this. It's really a dog thing that eats inside and out. Yunru, from what you just said, the third elder was also involved in this incident, right? Lin Shu said coldly. Yes, but right now the patriarch has deprived the position of the third elder. Well, I remember that many parts of the business I did before have something to do with people from the third elder's line. You arranged to kick out all the people from their line. I don't need to teach you how to do it, right? At this point, Lin Shu's eyes flashed coldly. In this case, I'm afraid you will suffer a lot. To me, this little loss is nothing. I just want to let those people in the clan who harbor ghosts know what the price is for daring to touch my brother. Okay, then I'll do it right away. Qin Yunru glanced at Lin Yan's face, nodded and agreed. Seeing Lin Shu's fierce reaction, Lin Yan was both moved and helpless. Lin Shu's ability to handle affairs has always been obvious to all in the Lin family, but he is also famous for his fiery temper. How could he be pulled down by someone like Lin Yang in the family battle? Brother, don't be angry about this kind of thing. You have been busy outside for so long, so take a good rest. Okay. Seeing Lin Yan comforting himself, Lin Shu nodded. The two sat together and chatted for a while, before Lin Shu went back to rest. In the current family, Lin Yan's closest relatives are undoubtedly his grandfather and elder brother Lin Shu. However, there is an age gap between him and the old man, and grandpa is the head of the family after all, so he must have enough majesty, so many times even if he wants to be closer to Lin Yan, it is Jiyu Zuianhu, so he can only talk to his eldest brother Lin Shu about a lot of things. That boy Lin Yang, is he in Dingzhong now? Lin Shu's expression darkened as soon as he left the room. Ah, yes, the entourage outside was stunned for a moment, and then immediately responded. Very well, arrange to get off the plane, I will fly to Dingzhong tonight. Ah, okay, I'll arrange it right away. The attendant froze for a moment when he heard this, and immediately realized something, and nodded immediately. Such news is naturally impossible to hide. It didn't take long for Lin Wei, the current head of the Lin family, to know. This pair of brothers. The old man sat on the chair and shook his head slightly. The meaning in the old man's words seemed to be blaming, but looking at the expressions on the old man's face, they were all extremely satisfied, and there was no sense of blame at all. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.